Let me get you one that does. If you ever see a carrier where their underwriting requirements, it'll say here instead of PM for paramed, it'll say ABB, or it'll spell out physical, and then it'll abbreviate measurements. What they're referring to is a physical measurement is basically just this, which is the height, the weight, the blood pressures, the pulses, and that's about it. So technically, this is a physical measurement, but because of the age and amount that this insured is applying for, a paramed exam was needed, and this is a paramed exam. So it'll say medical supplement, or it'll say Part 2, or it'll say Part B. Every carrier, of course, has to call it something different. But basically, in a nutshell, it asks for the insured's primary physician and what was the date and reason of the visit. So they want to know the date, why he went. They also want to know what test and treatment was received. So we know the date that he went, the reason he went, but they want to know the treatment received and test performed. What was the outcome of the visit? Was everything within normal limits? Was it just a routine follow-up and everything, I'm not quite sure why this wasn't completed unless it's all shoved here. Oh, it is right here. No treatment, no referrals. And then all these questions are asked by the examiner word for word. She doesn't put it on the insured or the patient or proposed insured, in front of them and tell them to complete it. He or he has to dictate this word for word in front of the patient, in front of the proposed insured. And the reason why they do that is they want to make sure that the insured understands what questions are being asked. Because these questions are very important. Remember, we're doing underwriting here, so we need to make sure that all these questions are answered 1,000% of best to their knowledge of accuracy. Okay?
So this is Part 2 or Part B of the lab ticket?
Nope. Now this is the paramed exam.
Okay, so Part 2 or Part B is the PM. Okay, gotcha.
Right. Part 2, Part B. Sometimes you will see a non-medical. It looks just like this, but it's called a non-medical. It'll say everything just like this. The only difference is down at the signature page. Right. The signature page, it won't show signature examiner. It'll say agent and insured. That's how you know the difference. So because it says here examiner, the examiner signing off that all of this information is true and correct, and so is this client. So we know that this is a paramed examiner. Also, the paramed examiner will usually stamp or write the exam facility information for billing purposes. So let's see, let's find it. I know I saw it on the lab slide. We'll come back to this. It was right here, so they know who to bill. This is the exam. So most of these examiners, this Jennifer Hall, she's an independent contractor. So she might have one day she works for Exam 1, and another day she might work for paramedic or EMSI, which is another exam facility. So they're all independent. They're all independent contractors. So basically, when she submits the paperwork, whatever company is the one that assigned her to order, that's who they bill it through. Okay. And yes.
Jyoti, we find these questions are missed to answer. So while processing case management, we find that question this is still pending to answer. Need to get back to the agent for question 7B to be answered, or question 7 is not answered, like that.
Yes. So I'm sorry. What was your question about that?
In the second page, in the paramed, we have the list of questions. In which it is marked yes or no, right? While doing a case management process, we find that some questions they say in the note that the question number 2A is not marked, is not answered.